to remind you of what we're doing pitching-wise. Is it raining, yeah? What we remind you to do pitching-wise is that we position the ball inside the back foot, the body's on an angle, and we lean forwards, don't we? And then we rotate our body to halfway, and then we follow through. Okay. Now, that normal shot's fine, but the trouble that we have with that shot is that when the golf ball lands on the green, particularly in the summertime when we're playing golf, it will tend to bounce and carry on. So I can definitely pitch over those yellow markers, but generally speaking it won't stop fast enough because the ball flight, it's up, but it tends to bounce and carry on. Obviously we're hitting it to the rough, so it does tend to stop. So the shot that we're looking to try and get you to play is a full swing, but we want the golf ball to go higher. Okay? So we notice that whether that would be summer or winter, that golf ball is not going to go anywhere. It's just going to bounce and stay where it more or less lands, even when the ground's harder. So the challenge that you have tonight, I suppose, is which is the best way to play it for you. Because obviously, the better the golfer you are, the more of an option you have of setting it up. Because your technique's better, you're probably thinking better. But for an average golfer, it's probably safer to play it the pitchy way, and just simply expect the ball to roll to the other side of the green, and then you've got a couple of putts to come back. But if you were playing maybe a match play or against someone, or you're on the last hole and you had to get up and down to have your best score ever, then there is an opportunity to do so, but it comes at a risk. And that risk is if we play it the incorrect way, which is this way. Okay? So you can imagine, appreciate where your target is. Okay? Okay. So the option of obviously playing it correctly, incorrectly, you're better off having an air shot and missing the golf ball because you're in a much better position you are here than where I've just hit that one. So the consequence for this is because I'm having to make a much bigger swing because I need the height to get it to drop, but if I miss-hit it, the result is 10 times worse than if I miss-hit it trying to pitch just with a half swing. Because even if you miss-hit a half swing, it's not going to go to Devon like that one just did. Okay? So what do we need to do in order to be able to play the shot? There is some really good news. The good news is, particularly for those with a good golf swing, the good news is that it isn't your normal golf swing. What I'm changing is just the way that I'm setting myself up. So what makes the golf ball go up high? The first thing is it's not your technique. So your technique does not make the golf ball go up. So I do not need to swing upwards. What makes the golf ball go up is that I start the golf club with more loft. So I have the club face what we call open. So this is just a standard sand wedge. There is a golf club that you can have called a lob wedge, which has 8 degrees more loft. So if you sort of played it the pitchy way, you'd probably get a bit of height and it would stop. But most people would have to just simply turn their sand wedge and open the loft of the club. So the angle of the club or the loft of the club has to be on the shot before you play the golf swing. It's not during your swing that you loft it. You're simply just going to hit it with a more angled golf club. So if I just stand here and I've opened the loft of the club and just have my normal golf swing, we can see that golf ball is going to go up very, very high and it's going to stop very, very quickly, and I've more or less made a full swing to get that. But we do know what the consequence is. So when you're out playing golf and you go to play this shot, and you say, right, Mike taught me this shot, and then you thin it, don't blame me, you have another choice, an easier choice, which is just getting it over the top with less angle and letting it roll forwards. It is an easier shot. But some of you will probably think above your means a little bit and say, right, I'm going to give this a go. Be careful where you practice it. Never practice it back towards the clubhouse or my car. Okay? So always feel that you come out to the grass and actually have a clear behind. So therefore, I think then you're not going to be too scared to give it a go. So do be wary where you're playing it when you practice a shot, because you could turn a 20-foot shot into a 200-foot shot. Now, there has to be one little adjustment I need to make apart from my lofted club. Remember, when we open the loft of the club, we notice that the golf ball is now, or the golf club is now aiming to the right. So you'll notice that I'll have to offset my body around again. Okay? So, however open I want the club, I have to adjust that amount with my body. When we do normal chipping and pitching, we have the ball position back so the golf club is slightly open, so therefore we have a slight turn with the feet. But if I want to do that, you can see I'm having to move around the golf ball again. My ball position stays the same. You'll note that the ball position is still more or less inside the back foot, okay, because I still want to catch the golf ball first. The only difference is I now need a full swing in order to be able to make the golf ball go up very, very high. The main difficulty with a shot is that you do lose distance control a little bit because you're sending it upwards. And remember, when we did chipping and pitching, we've got more control when the golf ball's landing lower and landing on the front of the green than when we try and make it go up nice and high. So your lie, or where you hit the golf ball from, does make a difference. So if the golf ball was sitting in a lie which was there, I wouldn't attempt the shot. It needs to be sitting up on a nice bit of grass. And I suppose these conditions, winter conditions, if you're on the fairway, you're allowed to have a preferred lie or 6-inch tee in place. So if you are on the cut grass, you do have 6 inches to move the golf ball, so you could move it to a higher position, which would help. If it's in this position, just going to be very, very careful. It's going to come out low anyway, and I would play it the low way and just sort of catch the golf ball first. It will run on a little bit, but if it's sitting poorly, you can't play the high shot. So we're going to have a little go at today. We're going to make sure that we're nice and safe and spread out. But the main thing I want to make sure is that you have a nice lie, so the ball's sitting up nicely. The club face is open. You've adjusted your feet round a little bit, and then you swing for Great Britain. And the important thing is not to swing upwards. The key is to keep your legs flexed, stay low, and you're trying to keep the club low to the ground. Remember, the angle of the club is making the ball go up, so it needs to stay under. So you'll notice with the flex in my legs, they're staying flexed, I'm staying low, and I'm just swinging backwards and forwards. And even when I finish, you'll notice that I'm not necessarily trying to complete my finish. This is a specialty shot where I'm turning my shoulders, swinging my arms, setting my hands, but I'm just trying to keep the golf club low through the impact area, not trying to lift it. The angle of the club needs to work. So there are a few of you, so we'll get you into twos. I think we'll be safer. And then we're just simply going to have a little go. Make sure that we have a nice lie. We're just going to make sure that we get the setup correct. If the setup is correct tonight, and you can go away and practice this shot, it's just a matter of just trying to perfect it. It will amaze your friends if you can play the shot, because it is a difficult shot, but it looks fancy, doesn't it? When you have a full swing and it goes up your right nostril. But it will stop quickly, and it's a shot that's probably more suited for the summer, because in the winter you can play a normal shot and the ball will stop in time. Obviously we have a bunker there, so if you do open the loft of the club and you don't swing hard enough, it will end up in the bunker. You notice one of my shots, which I did on purpose, was incorrect, just to show you that effect. Okay, but all the rest landed nicely over the bunker. Thank you. Okay, right, so we're going to split you up.